Welcome to HighLife. My guest today is Banan AbuSitta, Commercial Director of Private Jet Media, the world's largest out-of-home advertising network, offering exclusive access to private aviation outlets for luxury brands like Cartier, Jaguar, or Dior. Hi, Banan.
Hi, thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here. So I'm going to start off with why I think this topic is so interesting from a brand marketer's perspective, because just a few years ago, mentioning out-of-home advertising would have brought to mind, billboards and roadside signage. However, today, private aviation outlets are viewed pretty much as an equivalent to PR or digital marketing, and they have become an integral part of a luxury brand's marketing mix. And the scale and speed with which their significance has grown is really unprecedented. And so I was wondering if you could tell me, why do you think this growth has happened and what drove this growth?
So since 2022, we've witnessed a massive growth in the private aviation. Globally, we've seen the private jet flights increased by 20%. 50% is the miles flown that rise between 2019 and 2023. Today, Dubai has 5 private jet terminals between Dubai International Airport and Maktoum DWC Airport, including ExecuJet, which is the largest private jet terminal, the world's largest private jet terminal. So it's not only in Dubai. In Dubai alone, we've seen 143% increase in private aviation. In London, around 21% increase. Palma, 56% increase, Geneva, 24% increase. So we've seen a global shift in private aviation. That's because of 2 reasons. The first reason, the ultra-high net worth individuals, it's become a multi-destination journeys. They are traveling for business, leisure, and culture. The second reason that during Corona, we've seen a shift of a new segment from business class travelers and first class travelers to private aviation. And the reason is the commercial airports restrictions during Corona.
That's very interesting. And those figures that you've mentioned are really quite striking. But before we move on with the topics, I actually wanted to talk a little bit about your firm itself, Private Jet Media. Because as I understand, it's the longest established, the largest, and the most global company on the market. So I'm really interested if you could tell me a bit more about your network and how do you do what you do?
So at Private Jet Media, we present brand activation to brands across 200 private jet terminals globally, across key hub cities from Africa, Asia, APAC, Europe, and the MENA region. We give them the space in terms of exclusivity for brands to be integrated within the space. These spaces of the private jet terminals are uncluttered and very focused and private, which makes it ideal for luxury brands who wants to be exclusive, targeting this segment, whether it's in real estate, in government initiatives, luxury fashion and jewelry brands, lifestyle. It's become the right platform to connect with this type of elite audience.
Let's talk about that audience a bit more. What makes them so valuable, just beyond their wealth? Are there other behavior characteristics or other traits that makes them unique for luxury brands?
Unlike commercial airports, where even a business class and a first class passenger, he still needs to go the full journey in the airport, in the commercial airport, from check-in to luggage, immigration, until he reached the check-in gates. While a private jet traveler, he does not have all this. He's relaxed, he would be seated inside the lounges, uninterrupted, enjoying a cup of coffee while waiting for his flight to be ready. So during that time when he is seated, relaxed, uninterrupted, you have a captive audience where he's receptive, he's engaged, he's ready to be engaged. This audience are highly influential beyond just their own purchasing power. These are board of directors, CEOs, run global companies, as well as manage family business. That means their perception or their preferences is not only for themselves. They shape markets, they shape trends, and they are market makers. And that's why they've become so important for the brands, because the brands is not only targeting one customer, they are also having a very powerful voice for this brand.
Then I'm wondering, inversely to what brands value in these audiences, what do these audiences value in brand communications? What kinds of ads resonate with them?
So the high net worth individuals, they value privacy, control, and personalization. With that comes the brand that needs to be nicely integrated. The private jet terminals itself, it values and it follows this ambience. So when the brands they are advertising, they would be nicely integrated. They will not be intrusive. They will not be loud. It will be more campaigns that's nicely related, integrated, respectful, and emotionally aligned with this audience.
Okay, I think that's really good advice for all brands trying to reach and engage such an audience, because sometimes they just try to be very salesy and very loud, and it just won't work, especially not in such an environment. So, true. Speaking of privacy that you mentioned, how do you handle performance tracking, and how do you make sure that you provide these advertisers insightful data while at the same time also respecting the audience's privacy?
So we have 2 points here. The first point is measuring how many they've seen the campaign, the top nationalities, demographics in general, which we use Wingx platform that track every private jet, whether it's departing from London to Dubai, and it gives us by 1 month how much footfall was there, what's the top nationalities, and all these data. The second point, mainly, that there is a staff in the private jet terminals that will be with the travelers as they move inside the terminals. It's unlike the commercial airports. It's an intimate, private space, and that gives us valued information. Whether he's asking about feedback or of where to invest his money, whether it's where can I buy this piece of jewelry, where can I stay, all this information has to be answered by the staff. And it gives us valued feedback about each brand when we have campaigns with them.
So you're combining software level data with personal data. That sounds truly powerful. So my next question would be, you've mentioned a couple sectors that you have worked with. Yeah. So I'm wondering if you could tell me a bit more about what kind of luxury brands and what sectors are the most active in the space of advertising? And can you mention a few exciting brands that you have worked with?
So in the past 2 years, we've seen massive interest from developers in real estate industry. Brands like Dubai Holding, Nakhil, Expo, Miras, they wanted to highlight their projects for this audience as the ultimate lifestyle experience and investment opportunity. This is followed by government initiatives, destinations, and hospitality. Brands like Red Sea Global, Jumeirah, One and Only, Visit Qatar, they want to highlight and influence the travelers as they are moving between key hub cities. From the jewelry and watches, we have iconic names like Richard Mille, Audemars Piguet, Tiffany.
From a real estate marketer's perspective, I can definitely relate to why this is such a unique and powerful platform and advertising channel, especially with the competition on social media being so fierce, and it's such a saturated channel. So novel channels like yourself, we all really try to take advantage of.
Absolutely. I mean, real estate and developers, they've been approaching us because they're looking of ideas out of the box rather than the traditional marketing and the traditional campaigns way. And the reason is whether it's a estate in Geneva, a luxury estate in Geneva, or a bulk investment in Miami, our platform gives them the direct access to high-end buyers.
How about B2B? I'm wondering if they could also take advantage of your advertising platforms.
That's a great question. And often brands, they overlook this fact. These private jet travelers are not only the end customer with massive purchasing power, they are also the board of directors, the head of states, entrepreneurs who influence every decision that the global companies, they does. So if the B2B brands, they are looking to influence the top of the pyramid, our platform can provide that.
That makes absolutely perfect sense. So then I'm wondering what have been some of the most successful campaigns that you have seen, whether that's in B2B or B2C setting, and what are some of the innovative ideas that you've seen from brands that were especially welcomed by your audience?
So we work hand in hand with brands to understand their marketing objectives, and based on that, we create a customized experience, whether it's traditional digital screens in the lounges that creates awareness, whether it's lounge branding. So we worked with developers who will take the full space and recreate their own, as if you are walking into their penthouse, recreating the full experience.
Oh, incredible.
Within the lounges.
So then do you think we could see more brand activations on board and not just in the lounge? I'm thinking tasting menu or more immersive experiences. Is there anything that you would recommend brands to do? Because, as an expert and being in constant communication with your audience and your clients, you know best what they would like to see.
So we really love when brands, they get out of their traditional ways and we brainstorm together what ideas can be done based on their projects highlights or product highlights. So of course we are happy to recommend always new ideas out of the box, whether it's a full jet branding or nice gift items nicely waiting for the private jet travelers as they enter the jet.
This is all still very novel, but we cannot forget that the advertising landscape is changing at an exponential pace, especially with AI having impacted all of its facets. So we still need to stay ahead of the curve. And so therefore, I was wondering, what are the next frontiers that you see coming up in luxury brand marketing?
That's a great question. I think everyone is looking at what's next, and AI is leading the way. So I'm sure within a short time frame, we're going to see AI experiences within the jet, understanding what the travelers is looking for, what's his preferences, and based on that, creating branding experiences around this.
I'm wondering if maybe at some point in the not too far future, advertising will also move into space tourism rather than just private aviation, as if and when it becomes commercialized, if a brand decided that they want to sponsor a rocket.
Yeah, that's absolutely would be a great potential. Imagine if you can see a Cartier rocket going to the moon, fully branded items on board. I think that would be an amazing idea.
Cartier rocket going to the moon.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Banan. This has been really insightful.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me today.